Vinicius, that was the other talking point you had, right? Um, I guess my assessment of it is that, and I don't know if I need to overcomplicate it because I feel like when people like ask me like on social media or like through Instagram in the questions thing, hey Keon, why isn't Vinicius finishing his chances this season? Can you explain? I'm like, how am I supposed to explain it? I'm not the one who's in front of goal in a big game, like, with the ball at his feet. I'm not one of the best wingers in Europe, so I don't know like what the answer is. Like, oh, psychologically he is here, he needs to be here. I feel like unqualified to answer that question. Other than that, like what it's a weird discussion to have primarily because he is the leading goal scorer. He scored again today, and I think in as I've said in the past, like the rainbow flick. I assume, and I don't know, I haven't checked the dialogue. I assume that's a big talking point, just like Anthony's spin was with Manchester United, where he does the through ball after and doesn't pull it off. Naturally, when you see a rainbow flick in the box and doesn't get pulled off, I just assume that there's going to be a big dialogue about it in the next 72 hours. It's going to be all over the front pages. Should he have done this? Should he have not done this? And Carlo Ancelotti has always allowed his players to express themselves. This is what he said about Modric. He said, I don't give him advice. When Rafa Benitez comes and tells Modric not to use the outside of his boot, Ancelotti is the opposite of that. Who am I to tell Modric not to use the outside of his boot? I think naturally when you let young, talented players express themselves on the pitch, they're going to make wrong decisions and they're going to make mistakes. And I think that's what we saw in the first half. The chance he missed also, like Rodrigo should have an assist in this game. Like it's a criminal that he didn't, because he had that really nice, he beats his marker, he cuts it back to Vinicius misses it. But I thought Vinicius was better in the second half. Just like the Girona game, I thought in both those games he was better in the second half than he was in the first. There was a bit more purpose to his game. He simplified it a little bit. And I also think it goes back to also what Carlos said last season. And we told Vinicius to take one or two touches in front of goal maximum. Maybe that needs to be emphasized again. But I don't. It's a hard one to answer because me personally, I just believe that he's a great player and he's going to be great if he isn't already. And you just accept growing pains because growth is not linear. Like if he was just having like a terrible season, I would be like, okay, let's have a big dialogue about this. But he's having a really good season statistically speaking, and also like the eye tests in moments and spurts are really good. It's just that he attempts things at a high volume, at a high clip. Therefore, he will make more mistakes than more people because he also gets himself into more goal-scoring positions that people are even capable of. That's the other thing. Like, this was a discussion after the Leipzig game too, right? The one away in Leipzig where he misses virtually a tap-in. You go back and rewind the play. He breaks the lines. He lays it off. He sprints into position to get the ball by himself, and like he single-handedly creates that chance for himself almost that people wouldn't even get themselves in that position to begin with. So he also creates a lot of the stuff that he misses, to be fair. And you just hope that it's like he'll just get going and this is just a funk. And again, is it really a funk? I mean, it's a funk by our eye tests and our standards of him. But he is not in that big of a funk. Like I've seen bigger funks to star players. So I guess I would just my view of it is I think it's just a bit of a phase that he has to go through with growing pains, and he's still going to be okay. I said I didn't want to overanalyze it, but I ended up overanalyzing it.